No, I think a couple weeks ago you guys asked me to do, what do you call it? Like a reaction video. And yeah, I was thinking that I would do that, go through your suggestions. I picked one because I like Wayne Dyer. So I'll do that. I just thought it would be a fun thing to do. Let's see. Okay. You can go back to that post if you want. But every great now and then I'll do a reaction video or a couple of them. And I don't know, you liked it, so I thought I would do it again. I can get some very weird reactions though, especially since it's live. There's nobody to mitigate me, and you know how I can be. So I'm going to share screen with one of the videos that you suggested. I'm going to keep the participants box open in case people want to come in, and we'll go from there. Let's see. How do I do that? I'm going to share screen with you. There we go. Okay. So this is one of the ones you asked me to react to. Can you guys see it? Or do I need to make that bigger? Can you see it? The screen? No? Yes? Maybe? Okay. Hopefully you can see it. If not, let me know. And I'll keep admitting people that want to come in as well since we just started it. All right, I'm going to start the video, and I'll also look at anything else that you put in there that pops up that I might want to react to. Reaction videos are a lot of fun. All right, let's get going.
You are God. If you will accept this towering truth and dare to stand atop this magnificent pinnacle, your consciousness will be revealed to you from within. God is there. It is He who peers from behind your eyes. Revealed to you from within. God is there. It is He who peers from behind your eyes.
Well, he starts out with a banger. It's like, you are God. Some people would just go, I just kind of go, huh, yeah. What's behind that view? Is that a concept that we can transcend as well? The I am? What's behind the I am? Who is the person looking through the eyes? Who's the looker, and who's the person being looked at? And what if you're not a person? What's this observation? You know, and then when he says it is he, of course, my ego gets a little resistance because I feel like that is a little bit like embodiment, he, she, persona, gender identification. But that's an interesting perspective for sure. What is beyond that? What's beyond even the God concept? Who or what is that? That's my reaction to that.
Who is your own consciousness, who is your very self. You are not just a part of God, you are altogether God. And God is altogether you.
Okay, see, I like that, the way that he described it there, because in the soul's experience of beingness, you are fractals of divinity. And in many New Age teachings, you could call that soul fractals, you could call that past lifetimes, personalities of different beings that you've been, different experiences that you've had. But what does that look like all together if every being is the same being, pretending to be different? I like it. It reminds me of a God patchwork quilt. Yeah. And then you go, who's doing the knitting? Who is knitting the quilt? Okay, let's continue on.
That's scary stuff for a lot of people. We weren't raised to believe.
You know what? That's not scary stuff for me. That's exciting stuff. When you've been raised in a world that conditions you, that you are born into something that you should be ashamed about, aka sin, when someone says you are God and you finally believe that that's real, you jump for joy. The first thing you feel is what? What do you guys feel? I feel liberated. I felt liberated the first time a guru told me that. What's interesting is I remember Ram Dass saying, yeah, you're God. And you can go around telling people, I am God. He said, and they will think that you have a narcissism complex, that they will eventually accept it. But the problem is that people who say that they're God and know that they're God try to then assume a guru complex and go tell someone else that they're not. And that's when the problem arises, he says. I will always remember that. Hang on a second, I'm trying to let you make sure. For those of you just joining, we are doing a reaction video to a Wayne Dyer teaching called "This is the Truth of the Universe," is what it says, and we just started.
Believe that, but there's another word that Jesus used in the New Testament, and this is the God I speak of, quoting him. God is love, and he that dwelleth in love dwelleth in me, and I in him. God is pure, unconditional, blissful, divine.
Okay, that reminds me of what Jesus said in A Course of Love Today when he said, love is, and when you feel a deep longing that your birth into separation begins, you feel this longing and searching for love all the time, is because you don't realize that you are that love. So this ties into this teaching as well, where Wayne Dyer says God is love. Well, what is love? Love is you. And when you recognize that, then you can see God. When you can see love, you can see God. But it's this big path in the beginning stages of separation when a person feels all of the effects of conditioning that culture provides, such as sin and alleged unworthiness and shame. It's its own culture. Shame is its own culture. It's like a very insidious disease, almost like a silent disease, and when you finally see that you have a disease but you're not the disease, it's a big revelation. Anybody with me on that? I told you I'm going to get weird. So yes, Wayne Dyer can say God is love, pure, unconditional, blissful, divine love. However, when you awaken out of shame culture, you kind of are like, are you sure? Are you sure that I'm loved? Because right now people think I'm going to hell, or right now my parents are disappointed, or right now my partner doesn't understand me, or there's a certain, dare I say, initial loneliness involved in awaking out of separation. Anybody felt that? And your friends go, you've changed. And on a deeper level of acceptance and self-love and awareness and awakening, even your children and your partner and your business colleagues will say, you've changed. And I'll tell you, like I told a mystery school person on her way to adepthood, I said, yeah, you're going to get that. You're going to get the you've changed thing. And are you down? Are you still good? This is your get out of jail free card, but many people turn their back and say, I'd rather stay in jail because at least everyone will understand me there and I won't lose anyone. Have you ever felt that way? So when you finally realize that God is this love, this pure, unconditional, blissful love, and you are as well, you go, oh, great. How am I going to explain that to anyone? Right? You can't teach it. It won't just rub off from you to them. People are going to continue living their fearful lives. True? Right? And then the ego goes, so what do I do now? Keep being that love. That's it. That's it. We just keep being not love.
Love, that's who you are. The second great teaching was a man named Neville Goddard, passed away in 1972.
Well, that's that law of attraction guy, right?
California, particularly in the 40s and 50s and 60s. I read his book, The Power of Awareness, 7 times. And chapter 27, the last chapter of his book, The Power of Awareness, it says this: in all of creation, in all of eternity, in all the realms of your infinite being, the most wonderful fact is that which is stressed in the first chapter of this book. You are God. You are the I am that I am. You are consciousness. You are the creator. This is the mystery. This is the great secret known.
If you had told me this upwards of, I'd say pre-2017, I would have said, yes, I love this. This is the most beautiful information I have ever assimilated or remembered as truth. And for you to tell me this now, I have begun to realize that even the words that are utilized, God, I am that I am. What else did he say here? Let me back up. These words
Takes place is have the pieces moved around by something bigger than all of us.
Did we skip forward?
He says, why would you stone me?
Oh, we totally skipped forward.
The ages.
But even these words,
the most wonderful fact is that which is stressed in the first chapter of this book.
A concept. God is a concept.
God. You are
the I am is a concept. God is a concept created by man. What is beyond that? Right.
The I am that I am. You are consciousness.
Okay. Consciousness cannot be defined by man, right? Creator, what is that? Does that mean that there is a created, a separate being? It's almost as if the language creator and created, God, to what? Another being. It's not, at this point, what I'm attempting to say is that I cannot resonate with the phrase. My mind is blown attempting to remember how I used to feel about the phrase itself. I know that I felt like it was beautiful. And now I'm like, there's something beyond that. And then I get super excited about the something that isn't a thing that is beyond that. Probably doesn't make any sense. I told you guys I can't teach this.
You are the creator.
But I don't feel like the creator, and I don't feel like the created. Do you, somebody gets it? Brandy, of course it's you. I don't feel like creator. I don't feel like created. I believe it was Ram Dass who described this best. He said, you have this little voice that goes around telling you what to think. It also tries to tell you who you are, how to feel, what to think, how to react. And there's this little voice that says, hey, you're eating pizza. Someone comes along while you're munching on the pizza and they ask you, who are you? Right then you say, oh, Sean, I'm eating pizza. Yum, yum, good. Pizza, good. And maybe pizza eater. I don't know. Right? So you just kind of go along through life with this background voice that kind of checks you all the time. And you're like, what's that? And one day, the first step of awakening is I know that whatever is around me might not be God, or might be a portion of God. I am a portion of that God. I'm a fractal of God. And then the second step typically is, oh my gosh, everybody's God. And then, oh, that means I'm God too. And then I am. I just am, right? Can't even define what I am anymore. And then finally, there's this other essence that is observing that voice, that says, eating pizza, yum, be mad, someone just hurt you, be sad, this is happening bad, this is happening good. There is this essence behind that voice in your mind that has always identified as I. We can call it big I, little I. Is that yet another degree of separation, right? But there's this essence that's just observing the illusion of itself, observing a reflection in a mirror. And one day you begin to notice that essence more aligned to being the who you are than the voice, some may call it ego, that's there telling you, this is that, feel this way, feel that way, act that way, this is bad, this is good. And then you go, what's that? What's that thing? Observing the thing in my life. And it feels like walking around outside of yourself. It's a little surreal. Anybody feeling that right now? Freaky and beautiful. But the first time it happens, you go, what is that? It doesn't feel like a mind. It doesn't feel like a thought. It doesn't feel like a body. What is it? Am I going to die? Am I about to die? Am I going to have a near-death experience? Am I already dead? So many thoughts. The ego goes, oh, and then you feel that essence going, oh, look at ego saying you're dead. And then it tries to label that and judge that for you, right? What if that essence is this consciousness? What if that essence is bigger than one essence because it's a connection within a unified field? So many thoughts, I'm never going to stop. It's so much and so little and so big.
This is the mystery. This is the great secret known by the secret.
Let me see who needs to mute themselves. Hang on a minute. Yep. I think it might be Anya, so I'm going to mute her. Okay, she'll unmute herself later.
Truth that you can never know intellectually.
Yeah, you can never know
If you
it.
want to understand something intellectually, what you must do.
You can't know it, you can't attain it, you can't obtain it, you can't teach it, because there is no other to teach. It becomes like a no. I'm showing my age. It feels like the Twilight Zone movies. Do you guys remember that? Yeah, my grandmother used to watch it and always felt that mystery within that show, as weird as it is.
Is analyze it, come up with a formula for it, study it, look at other experts about it, and come up to a conclusion. If you want to understand something spiritually, you must first experience it. You must come to know this within. In the New Testament, which I read completely before I wrote Wishes Fulfilled, Jesus is about to be stoned. And he says, why would you stone me? And they say, because you blaspheme. You are a man, and you claim to be God. And Jesus responds in his words, is it not written in your laws that I have said you are gods? All of you. We are all gods. We have within us, not the God that so often we are taught is outside of us, but the God that is love, the God that is perfect love, the soul that wants to expand because it is infinite and doesn't.
Wait. See, my mind's doing it again. It's like, how can a soul that is infinite actually expand or contract or be born or die if it's infinite? So, spirit is endless, beginningless, infinite, right? Souls, they have the choice to pretend to be intimate. But do souls actually exist if oneness is true? Or are you a spirit pretending to be a soul that then navigates through many doors of the Akash, many openings and closings that you're calling birth and death, and outside of time, it all looks like one little blip of consciousness that happened like that, like a I don't know, I'm getting the vision of a drop of water coming out of a sink and then splashing into a million little components of itself into the bottom of the sink. But it's still the same water. So how can you say you're a soul that wants to expand? You see what I mean? Beautiful dream. But in the infinity, does that really ring true?
I want to be restricted. And I came across some great teachings that were sent to me. They showed up, as we often think they show up as accidents, but you come to realize that there are no accidents in this universe. Everything that takes place is having the pieces moved around by something bigger than all of us.
Oh, no. You guys knew I was going to stop there. Something bigger than all of us. What's that? Feel into that. See, I stop when my essence just kind of goes, It's like a separation language that I just cannot rewire my brain back into that. It's like taking the braces off. If you've ever had braces when you were a teenager or whatever for 2 whole years or whatever, and then they take them off and everything is straightened out. And then it's sort of like someone saying, using that same separation language for me, or being asked to navigate a separation concept. It's a little bit like, say, put the braces back on. It's a little bit like, oh, you're free, but go back to prison. It's a little bit like taking ice cream away from the baby. Like, I know, I've already tasted the ice cream. I've awakened to the extent that I don't even know how to sleep. Do you know what I mean? You don't want to go back to sleep. It's almost as if, do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Get directly out of jail. You are directly out of jail. And once you pass that stage in Monopoly, you're out of jail. But then someone uses a certain terminology, and you can almost remember a time of how cold the cell was. But it's such a faded memory that it's like you can't even, you're like, did that happen in this lifetime? Was it another lifetime? Did it happen at all? Oh, was I dreaming it again? Was it a dream within a dream within a dream? But I know that the cell isn't real. The cell isn't real. So I can't even envision it into my mind. It's like, when you are a kid and you're having a nightmare and say you are screaming or whatever, and your mom wakes you up. And then she said, oh, that wasn't real. And you're like, but this happened and that happened, and that monster was about to eat my guts. And, and then this murderer was chasing me with a knife. And the mom says, it's okay. It's not real. It was never real. Not only is it not real, it's never real. You are awake. Right? And then she tries to say, go back to sleep. And you're like, I just don't think so. Because even though you're telling me that's not real, I definitely don't want to go pretend it's real again now, do I? I don't want to go straight back into that nightmare, do I? It's interesting. Yeah. You too, Liz? I'm looking at your comments, all of your comments in the chat, and she said something greater than us always jars me as well. It's too patronizing, asking you to surrender your power and muffle your creativity. It's almost just like a wired language in spiritual communities. And what I'm getting out of this is so much beauty for the newly awakened person, and simultaneously a distant memory for a well awakened person, and then a reminder to listen to yourself. Not that you can, like I said, go back to jail or go back to sleep. You can't. Once you're free, you can't be jailed again. Once you're awakened, you don't go back to sleep, right? However, it just will baffle your mind. it just creates this feeling of deer in the headlights, and then you just can't understand anything that they're saying because your brain isn't wired for that anymore. Does that make sense?
It was called the I Am Discourses. And I quote from the I Am Discourses.
Wait, who wrote that? That sounds familiar. Did I go too far backwards again? Hang on. Na, 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 na. We were about here. Something keeps making things skip.
Conclusion. If you want to understand something spiritually,
Okay, yeah, we're about
you
here.
must first experience it. You must come to know this within.
In the mysteries, we call that the direct personal revelation, which, by the way, any of you can ask for that experience. You can just say, I invoke a direct personal revelation, and then insert something in the blank that follows. It is one of the deepest secrets of how to invoke properly in alchemy is to ask for a direct personal revelation or a direct personal experience. If you want to know about a kingdom of God, ask for a direct personal revelation about it or a direct personal experience. Remember that. It's so, so important.
In the New Testament, which I read completely before I wrote Wishes Fulfilled, Jesus is about to be stoned.
Okay.
And he says, why would you stone me? And they say, you are, and you claim to be God. In his words, is it not because that I have said,
okay, we went through here.
Gods are all gods.
Okay.
We have within us, not the God that so often we are taught is outside of us, but the God that is love, the God that is perfect love, the soul that wants to expand because it is infinite and doesn't want to be restricted. And I came across some great teachings that were sent to me. They showed up, as we often think they show up as accidents, but you come to realize that there are no accidents in this universe. Everything that takes place is having the pieces moved around by something bigger than all of us. And so it was called the I Am Discourses. And I quote from the I Am Discourses. The first expression of every individual everywhere in the universe, either in spoken word, silent thought, or feeling, is I am.
Is it now? Did you notice that in almost every sacred text that ever has been written by men or by beings that are claiming to be beyond it, they don't begin with that. But you'll see certain things, such as in the beginning, God said, let there be light, and there will be a mentioning of light. Only in the I Am discourses and in other certain I Am teachings will you hear this unique teaching. In all of the other sacred texts, new or 4,000 years ancient, that I have studied, and there have been hundreds, Buddhist, Vedic, the Gita, I can't even some of the Latin ones, such as the Sworn Book of Honorius, even some of the Dead Sea Scrolls, you do not see that there. So what was said? What if nothing was said? What if it wasn't a word? What if God can't say something because what would he even say it in? How could God say, I am that I am? How could he say, I am? That means there would need to be a language, right? What if there was a vibration, a sound? And what if sound is not creator and it didn't create you? Sound is creation. And the only thing that creation does is contract and expand, right? Sound moves in waves, smaller, bigger, wider, thinner. Sometimes the waves are together, sometimes they're apart. What if this I that you think is you wasn't created, but was vibrated into a belief of existence and therefore has always been the creation that is? What if you are consciousness. And everything that you're pretending to be in this dream right now is the visage. It is the mirror. And all of the thoughts and beliefs that come therefrom, you think you're that, right? It's just an interesting thing there. Okay, let's continue on.
Recognizing its own conquering divinity. The student, me, you, all.
Oh wait, let's back that up. Hold
endeavoring
on.
to me,
Something
you,
caught me.
all of divinity. The
Back up,
student,
back up, back.
am. Recognizing its own conquering divinity. The student, me.
That tripped me up again. Conquering divinity. It's another dualism word that when I feel a dualism word that just enlightens a part of me into full awareness, I'll roll with it. But sometimes certain words just make me go, what does that even mean? How do we conquer divinity? How is there a conquering divinity? Does divinity need to conquer anything or realize something of that nature? The words are a big trip for me right now. I'm like, does not compute. Seriously, someone help me out. I'm going to do it again. What's he saying? Here you go. Hold on.
Thought or feeling is I am. Recognizing its own conquering divinity. The student.
If there isn't an I, if consciousness is beyond I, how can the I recognize a conquering divinity? The I can recognize a dream of separation. That's what awakening is. But how can the I recognize a conquering divinity if the I knows that it isn't too? What does it need to conquer? Someone please help me out. My brain is like a mess right now. Make it stop. I just can't. Okay.
Me, you, all of us. Endeavoring to understand and apply these mighty yet simple laws must stand guard more strictly over his thoughts and expression. In words,
let's back that up.
Must stand guard to understand and
This is
apply
meaty.
these mighty students, me, you, all of us. Endeavoring to understand and apply these mighty yet simple laws must stand guard more strictly over his thoughts and expression, in words or otherwise. For
isn't that the truth? And that's what I'm doing right now. I feel the essence of me standing guard over the ego, which, by the way, we can't slay it, conquer it. It doesn't even exist. It's like murdering a ghost. But I feel the essence going, there is something here that wants you to watch your choice. Why? The essence that is observing the visage of that which you call ego, well, ego is the beautiful dream of creation and dream of creator that decides what language even is and all of its effects in the 4 laws of karma. So within the laws of karma, if you have the karma of thought, the karma of feeling, the karma of speech, your words, and then finally the big bang in that manifestation is the karma of action, and they all follow each other. You're damn straight I'm going to be watching my words. And beyond that, I'm going to be watching my thoughts. I'm going to be watching my feelings before they even get to the chance to come out of my mouth and thereby become an action that I could observe. That's the beauty of this dream, is that I have the choice. That thought can't be random. It literally can't. If that essence is guarding the dream, and the creator of that dream, which by the way is also a ghost, ego, and its function is to make the soul become aware that it's not only dreaming, but it is also a dream. This is like, who's the commander of the ship? And is there one? Is there a ship? Is there an ocean? Right? We could go all nihilistic in this about that essence that guards over everything and observes the non-observable because it isn't real. But if the essence wants to see itself, the essence is in a complete void space. The abyss is what we call that in the mysteries. It must be in complete darkness. If the essence isn't born and can't die, it doesn't begin, it doesn't end, it must be darkness. And what does the essence need in order to see this visage of itself that you are calling soul? And then the soul, the captain of the ship, if the ship is the body, all those little mates on the ship running around pretending to have all their roles, are they other yous in other lifetimes? Are they also other components of your personalities? And then the dream gets deeper. They each have their own little, ghost inside of them that we call ego, right? That directs their own little mini ships that they call bodies. I could go on and on about this, but it's a dream within a dream within a dream within a dream within a dream, and blah, 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 blah. So what if the soul is pretending to expand and you call that birth? And the soul is pretending to contract and you call that death? And everything in between, even the fact that you think you're born and you think you died, is a dream. I get so excited. This is why I love mystical philosophy, because despite the fact that it's obvious to me personally in my direct revelations and awakening that all of it is a dream, I'm dreaming to be talking to other people right now, it's still beautiful. ACIM likes to call it insane. I like to call it beautiful. I don't care if it's dream or not. I know when I want to take it seriously and when I don't, but I'm still guarding those words. Why? Because words need sound, regardless of if it's real or not, because it vibrates. It's the closest thing to that which you call creation that you will eventually remember. That's why words are so important. They will resonate, and you will watch dominoes either being picked up or falling all around you the moment you speak.
Every time you say, I am not, I cannot, I have not.
Oh, wait a minute. Liz says maybe instead of conquering, he means simply creative or transcendent, allowing us to overcome the limitations of present consciousness. Maybe. Because I don't see consciousness with any limit, I can't even perceive that possibility. Once you begin to undo all the effects of the vibrations of dualistic language, you get to choose actively in the dream of your mind what is going to be created in every moment of your now, every moment. So I'll read something, and you notice what the mind does. It goes, understand that, analyze that, that could be right. And I could feel the essence, whatever you call that is, whatever that is. I don't think it's an I, it's beyond that even. I feel this essence going, the mind is thinking about it. The mind is saying, oh, that might be right. Please understand that. That's some pretty deep stuff, man. Right? I could feel essence observing my mind saying that. And I'm just listening. And I'm going, oh yeah, that's that voice. I don't even care if it's true or not, because if it was meant to be understood, it would have been understood and assimilated immediately. Immediately. That's how you know that you are embodying spirit, when you wish to dream powerfully according to your spirit, and you read a teaching or a phrase from someone, and you immediately go, that's it, assimilated. You are embodying that essence that you are calling spirit, right? Or when you look at it and go, do not assimilate, you're also still embodying the essence of spirit. Because the essence doesn't tell the ego what to do. The essence isn't a being or an entity, so it can't judge. The essence doesn't dream in this way. It doesn't dream up dualistic components and theories and ideologies. The essence says, oh, yeah, that's right for you, take that. Nope, ego. Even the thing that you're calling higher self is only another fractal of mastery that you call soul. We just split things and split things and split things, and then we call that something, and then we wonder why we're confused, and we're like, well, my soul needs practice. My higher self needs a practice, and if I have a higher self, I must have also a lower and unintegrated self, which also needs a practice. Higher self needs a practice just to stay, lower self needs to stay connected to it so the ego will shut up, and I can have a good creative purpose in my contracts. Anybody ever done that? And then you start creating practices for all the dreams that you're dreaming about, the many versions of dreams within dreams within dreams within dreams. Anybody? I vaguely remember doing this initially in my life. I'm probably just, maybe that's just me. Anybody? Type it out, let me know. Okay, let's go on.
You are, whether knowingly or unknowingly, throttling that great presence within you. Now, every single time that you use the words, I am, you are citing the name of God right from the holiest books.
In the stages of awakening, and I do believe in this game that people are playing, it seems that there's been a creation of staging. It's not like an aha moment. It's very rare. It's very rare. And even people who think that they have had those aha moments have like many more. But when they're having like even a mild one, they're like, yeah, that's it. I am fully awake. I'm enlightened. I'm realized. Woohoo. And then you have more and more and more until you just wonder who was the I that had the experience, and even if the experience is real to be had, right? So when he says every time you say the words I am in the beginning stages of your awakening, like I said, you need the concept that you don't have to define. You just say I am, and you don't know what I is, and you don't need to. So in the beginning stages of awakening, it's important to get out of the traps that your cultures have presented to you, right? Because eventually, it's like cancel culture. Your ego is going to cancel the shit out of that belief, and then you're going to choose another one until you feel the walls around you of the trap that you created that you call liberation. It's bizarre. I'll tell you what, I believe it was also Ram Dass, that I'm channeling him next week. He's coming up a lot, who said meditation is a trap. He got it from Rinpoche. And Rinpoche said meditation is a trap. Ram Dass said, you will meditate, but that meditation is a trap that you will break out of, and then you will no longer need it. I believe it was Sri Ramana Maharshi that said, meditate until you are meditating without meditating, which is what many New Agers are saying that they no longer need. They're like, hey, I'm not meditating. I'm actually meditating while I'm doing all these other things. So I'm meditating without having to meditate because I am that awakened. Right? Yeah, right. And then in the background, you're in pain. In the background, you're completely bypassing that pain. This dream, albeit unreal, is not to be bypassed. It is not to be utilized in a way to fully disconnect and use the experience of awakening as a means of forgetting the beauty of your dream. And the beauty of your dream does include pain. The why will not be discussed today because the why doesn't even matter at some point. Believe me on that. At some point, the why to your pain won't matter as much as you have talked yourself into believing that it does right now, even. So, I believe it may have been Sadhguru who used this analogy to help us understand. He said, what if I threw you into a closet and it was a tiny, minuscule little closet and you're holding your feet up like this, with your knees against your chest, feeling claustrophobic. And then you've been in there quite an amount of time. And I come and I open the door. You're going to run out and you're going to toss your arms into the sky and say, I'm free. And you're going to love it. And you're going to feel that open space. And then you're going to recognize maybe that you are now out of the closet and into your kitchen. And I'm going to pull a wall around that. And you're going to get really tired of pacing the kitchen, walking back and forth, looking for more space. You might say, well, I need to exercise now. I haven't been out in a while. And then I open the walls around your kitchen, and then you realize you're in your living room. And then eventually you realize you might be in your bedroom, and eventually you say, oh, I have access to the whole house. Yeah, I think COVID is a really good reminder of this analogy. But still, you want to go outside of it. You want to experience the world, right? But then you're confined to certain places. Well, I can't go into these restaurants. Well, that's a boundary. That's a wall. As soon as humans feel a boundary around them, they want to liberate themselves from it. Well, spiritual modalities are the same way. You create one, and then you feel the wall of it. You feel that you've expanded in your dream of being a soul only so far, and thus you need a bigger one. This is why the creativity in these modalities are important. Anyone who allegedly experiences full realization would say to you, perhaps, that these are stages. But if any of them say you don't need them because oneness is the only truth, are they denying you your journey, your dream? Maybe.
And every time you say the words, I am weak, I am poor, I am unlucky, I am unhappy, I am sick, I am unable to attract into my life what you want, you are desecrating the name of God. You must be conscious of how you use these words. I am strong. I am well.
Okay.
I
Yeah, we
must
got to
be
back up.
conscious of how you able to attract into my life what you want. You are desecrating the name of God. You must be conscious of how you use these words. I am strong.
Okay. I can see the value systems behind that teaching, and simultaneously, as a person initiated as a shaman, I can see how desecrating it can be to disempower the newly awakened soul along their way in the journey. I can see the degree of bypassing the pain that would be involved in as well, and how one could unintentionally begin to desecrate the ego. And I can see that the ego is only afraid because it has been taught that love should be feared, that love has a consequence. So I would say that language is your key here, because remember, if vibration is creation, when you hear something and you don't really, your body doesn't light up, your body will tell you too. It's a beautiful measuring device. If you hear something and the light within you doesn't completely begin to shine, you know that perhaps there's a vibration in those words that aren't exactly beneficial in your creative experience, in your dream, right? So I remember when people were coming to me and saying, oh, no, don't say that. Despite the fact that it was true, that the universe doesn't hear no and doesn't hear not. And when you begin to awaken, you no longer want to resonate with those things. And everyone knows why. But also, you are where you are. And even though sickness isn't real, is it loving to tell yourself, I am well, when the body doesn't feel well? Is it loving to tell yourself, I am strong, when in your dream you just got stepped all over? Is it loving? Do you remember the phrase, is it kind? Is it necessary? Is it true? I would like to replace that with, is it loving? That is your question that you can ask yourselves every time you hear these little affirmations and invocations and things that people may give you, mantras that people give you for success, for manifestation. They're tools, true. Do they resonate with you? Do you light up inside? Does your body also become light ridden? Does it light up? Do you feel at peace or suddenly excited or suddenly full of love because what was said vibrated as love so powerfully that when you ask the question, is it loving? You go, yes. That recently happened to me in my wedding ceremony. I was supposed to say I do, and I went, yes, that's a light up. I can't say I do. I don't resonate with the words. I'm like, what is that? Does that mean there's a don't after? Does that mean there's, does that conjugate into do not? The language freak inside of me went nuts. Minister's sitting there looking at me like she's expecting me to say it. And I'm like, I've already said what I want to say. Resonate to who you are. Do not compromise that. And ask yourself the question, is it loving? And do I completely light up with love when someone asks me to say something, be something, feel something, think something, act a certain way? All the same thing here. And that, my friend, is your I am.
I am well. I am content. Even if your senses tell you something different, I am.
Nope. I just can't. My senses won't go there because my senses are finely attuned to love. And even when I don't feel love and I in the mind and the creation of not feeling that love, if my senses are closing down and saying, not loving, something's not loving, I stop and I listen, and I do not deny that, because the body and the senses are an amazing measuring device.
You'll see that putting the words I am in front of something into your mind and imagination is a very powerful way to attract into your life. Recognizing your own divinity. I am God is not blasphemy. It is your identity.
Until it isn't. Until who you are resonates beyond the concept of identity. Okay, that was it. It was a lot of fun. Thank you so much. I'll put this up as a replay link a little later. I'll download it and put it back up for you. I think we've had enough mind-blowing trips for the day. I deeply apologize for Crowdcast and Patreon's issues with the live streaming. Some of you are saying that the issue is fixed, and some of you are still saying that you can't get in. Both Crowdcast and Patreon are in communication with each other right now to work it out. And they're saying that by the end of the day tomorrow that we could possibly have at least some information about why my particular Patreon does not integrate with Crowdcast. And also, if they haven't corrected the issue by the time we have the upcoming class on Friday, I'm probably just going to put some Zoom links there instead that I can download and place the recording into the Patreon for you later. And that's how we plan to handle this until they resolve it. If they don't resolve it, we have a whole lot more to talk about. And I've told Patreon that as well. I'm like, I'm tired of this. This happens once a year and it freaks me out and I don't like it. Ego is upset. So I apologize, and please know that we are in communication with both Patreon and Crowdcast. And I will hopefully, I will see you on Friday, whether it's on Crowdcast or not. Hopefully it will be on Crowdcast. Bye.